I do believe that we should research this. I think just because there may be some biologic plausibility, because we've seen single cases where a cancer is diagnosed immediately after a vaccine or in the region, that doesn't mean it began developing at that exact point in time. So let's distinguish between when it developed and when it was diagnosed.
So let me address the other belief where you thought it just stayed in the arm. There literally was biodistribution studies in rats that said the lipid nanoparticle would biodistribute all over the body.
Wouldn't it be extremely hard to even determine when a cancer starts to develop because you have no idea what rate of speed it's actually developing at?
I think in theory, if you had a sample of it and actually incubated it and monitored its growth rate currently, you could probably extrapolate the, it's like morticians using flies to determine the time of death because they know the rate at which they evolve.
Yeah, but that's, I feel like that's more of a step-by-step process than an individual cancer growing in an individual person. That's a completely different biome from like any other biome that it would have found itself in. So even if you did take a sample and grow it in a lab, that's also a completely different environment, technically.
Yeah, unless you could recreate the actual, everything from pH balance to temperature and whatnot of that individual that it came from.
Yeah, I think that would just be really hard to replicate because even throughout the day, depending on like what kinds of foods they eat or amount of sunlight or amount of sleep or like so many variables go into that.
You'd have to have the research group that was even willing to do the research, and then people that were willing to fund the research. And
yeah, nobody's willing to fund that one because it's not going to come with a profit.
No, there's no profit in that. So
Accumulate in ovaries and adrenal glands, that type of thing. So we do know now that they lied to us. Was going to say they are biodistributed all over the body, and in doing so, then this little package with modified mRNA that wasn't going to degrade is going to enter cells all over the body, in the heart, turning those little heart cells into manufacturers of a toxic spike protein that, then what does the body do when there's a toxic spike protein on a cell?
Well, I would first of all argue that what happens in mice is not necessarily what happens in humans.
No. This happened in humans.
Let's just clarify that one. When the immune system sees a spike protein on the surface of the cell, it destroys that cell. And if it destroys a heart muscle cells don't divide. That won't be replaced. That's true in mice. And it's true in humans as well. Again, the fact that she doesn't seem to realise this really is quite incredulous. Professor Emeritus, University of Washington School of Medicine. Yeah, Professor Ron Johnson, ex-golf caddy and plastics manufacturer, is all over it. As I understand the science, Senator Johnson, who probably should be the professor, Senator Johnson is actually, his science here is immaculate, as I perceive it, and as all the other scientists I've talked to perceive it. He seems to have it worked out, and yet this medical professor doesn't. It really is quite hard to understand.
Okay, they knew it before. They knew it when they lied to us. Was going to say they knew it was going to biodistribute. That's the point of the study in mice. They knew it, and now we know it because this is disturbing. One final question: Does it concern you, as it concerns my other cancer doctors here, oncologists, that spike protein is being found in tumors?
I think we need to further investigate this, explore it, look at how common this is, and I am a scientist. I do believe that we should research, do the research, and have definitive proof, not single.
She's on stand sounding like Jen Psaki.
I can circle back.
I mean, I can't imagine being found in a position where I need to keep somebody else's lies for a government entity, basically. Like, that's the only thing I can imagine behind all of this, is that she's between a rock and a hard spot.
Yeah, I mean, you think it's like a blackmail type situation, or they just pay you really good?
Could be either, honestly. I mean, we don't know. I don't know anything about her particularly or her past, and so. But, I mean, if she was in the position, then they would have found any kind of reason to use her to their advantage.
Cases or population
There
data
is-
where the populations
I
are
would say there's
different.
no such thing as definitive proof, and we'll get to that later after.
Well, it's not supposed to be a comedy program, but you know, the burden of proof, if someone's introducing a completely new idea, surely the burden of proof is on them to prove that it's safe. And I don't know what it's like in the United States, but we haven't got the data on vaccines and cancer because the government know that data in the UK. They've released it to the pharmaceutical companies. They haven't released it to our independent academics and statisticians. How can we work it out without the data? It's like that old physics question. Given no information at all, work out the distance to the moon. Of course you can't. You need some information. Spike protein found in tumours. At least Senator Johnson got her to agree that research should be done, but of course no one's going to pay for the research, and all the other concerns she seemed to dismiss. So a combination of phenomenal levels of lack of knowledge. You know, if you met a joiner who doesn't know what a hammer and nails is, or doesn't know what a mortise and tenon joint is, or a plasterer who doesn't know what plaster is, you know, this is just ABC of medicine. How can she not know this? Let me know what you think. I'm just taken aback, and there's some incredulity with this video. I mean, there's other things we could talk about. You know, a whole deputation is here. It's all there. It's all written down for anyone to read. Association of Clinical Oncology, 50,000 oncology professionals, and she's the chief medical officer and executive vice president. You'd think she'd be all over this. I'm really surprised she didn't know those basic things. I mean, in the deputation, she says here, currently there's no evidence proving that mRNA vaccines cause cancer. Cancer is caused by a series of gene mutations and does not develop suddenly. Rather, tumour evolution is a multi-step cellular process requiring a cascade of mutation gene changes, changes to the way cells produce energy, cellular replication that takes years or decades to manifest. I don't know about that, actually. I mean, this is a book I wrote.
Just like they're telling us fossilization takes fucking millions of years.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm under the opinion of it. Yes, you know, the cascading of mutations throughout the cell could, you know, manifest over decades, especially with like epigenetics. But that's under normal conditions, because what they're not accounting for is the intervention of what they've done. So yes, under normal conditions, our previous living conditions, it could manifest over decades, but as of now, I mean, all bets are off. We don't even know.
With the amount of poisons that are getting flooded into our body through all kinds of things at this point, not to mention the vaccine.
Yeah, and obviously, according to Dr. Campbell here, in the video that he just showed us, they don't even know. So how are we going to draw the conclusion without the actual data that nobody is going to fund the research on?
Myself here, pathophysiology notes. I'll put the link at the bottom. You can download the PDF for free. But I've put here some carcinogens, that's cancer-causing substances, are able to initiate and promote malignant changes. These are called complete carcinogens. Well, it's only in a book I wrote, but there is such a thing as a complete carcinogen. I'm not going to amend that. I'm going to leave that in the book. For the next edition, I'm going to leave that the way it is. Anyway, there you go. Download this book for your own interest. I've put it in the public domain. With a physiology book, I'll put the link if you want to see it. And let me know why you think she seemed to not know all these really basic things. Very, very strange. somewhat of a pity that American science has been divided into Republican, Democrat. I think Dr. Garlow was put up by the Democrats. Don't quote me on that. But really, we should be debating science honestly with people that are on top of their subject. But hey, that's just me. Let me know what you think, as always. Thank you for watching.
Thanks for watching the show. I hope you enjoyed some of our commentary. If you got any questions about any of the things that we talked about today, please do your own research. We've both done our own research and come to our own conclusions about the things happening in the world, and it's up to everybody to do that for themselves. But thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again.
Would you like to know more?